So while Disney destroys the Muppets, Tom Sawyer Island, the Liberty Bell, and everything else you love in order to build new attractions in response to the opening of Epic Universe, Universal is already expanding. Universal has already begun phase 2 expansions to Epic Universe. This is crazy. This park opened 1 month ago and they're already expanding.
That's just forward thinking right there. Let's turn to our handsome correspondent Kenobi, who's in the field right now, to take a closer look at the race between Disney and Universal.
Look at the guy.
The guy thought he was...
Nope, there you have it, folks. Universal is lapping Disney and is leaving them in the dust.
Ouch.
So 2 new dining locations are set to open in Epic Universe in 2026 in this building right next to the portal to the Isle of Berk. These dining experiences are rumored to be an Italian restaurant on one side and a Mexican restaurant on the other side. But we're here to talk about the expansion right next to the Super Nintendo World at the front of the park. Roughly 40,000 square feet job site according to permits filed, and another permit for a 30,000 square foot vertical construction. So we're looking at a big building here, guys.
Big building.
Big.
Now, this building could be used for something like a sound stage or like a parade staging building, but we don't want to talk about boring stuff here.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is prime time, like theme park real estate. I don't think they're going to put something silly like that in this exact plot of land. It's like too close to Super Nintendo World.
Exactly. Too close for comfort, in a good way.
And newer drawings are showing that the parade building is going to be going behind Dark Universe. So yeah, put it there.
So one possibility we considered was a Super Nintendo show, but we don't really think that there's any storyline that would fit that very well, and maybe like the American audience isn't the group of people for that. I think that would maybe do better in a Japan setting or something like that.
Yeah, and I was like trying to think of like what would a Super Nintendo show be, and like I really couldn't think of anything. I'm like, I'm not a Universal creative, so they're smarter than I am, but I just don't think a Super Nintendo show is what people are looking for.
Yeah, and the costumes they're in are very like boxy and I think like hard to act in, so it's not really up to speed.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so what could this be then? One of Epic Universe's biggest problems right now is the lack of indoor attractions. When it rains, this park is basically inoperable. There's like 3, maybe 4 rides that'll operate in the rain. And they do have 2 shows, but that's still not enough. And let's do the math here real quick. Carry the 6, and it rains in Orlando every single day. That's a problem. We believe that Universal has recognized this, and what we're looking at for this building is a future dark ride.
Another one, yay!
And since this plot of land is right next door to Super Nintendo World, we're thinking this is going to be a Nintendo property or Nintendo adjacent. And when we say Nintendo adjacent, we mean...
Pokemon!
Gotta catch 'em, whoa!
Pokemon! So as exciting as Pokemon would be, Nintendo doesn't own Pokemon, but they are big stakeholders in the company, maybe like 30% or something like that. Now there have been rumors swirling for years that Pokemon might be coming to Universal, and could this be it?
Nope. Pokemon is way too big of an IP to have just one ride at Universal. They deem their entire own land.
Oh, definitely. And at Universal Studios, the Simpsons IP is going to be running out within the next few years. That's a decent sized plot of land, and it could be a better fit for Pokemon. And we were thinking that Nintendo may want to keep this area for properties that they own completely, which leads us to...
The Legend of Zelda! Woo! There's lots of hints of Zelda coming to the park here. In the gift shop right outside of Super Nintendo World, there are stained glass windows with Zelda, Ganondorf, and Link all right there. And they're selling a bunch of Zelda merch in there as well. The only other merch they're selling in there is Mario and Donkey Kong. The rides that they already exist in that park. Like, there's no Metroid, no Kirby, no Star Fox, no nothing. It's just Zelda, Mario, and Donkey Kong.
That's gotta mean something.
Right? Okay. And these, and on the stained glass windows, these are the Twilight Princess versions of these characters. And that is a fantastic game. My favorite one of all time is Ocarina of Time. It's a bit of an oldie, so let me explain if you're not too familiar with it. All right, so the story of Ocarina of Time revolves around the evil wizard and Gerudo king Ganondorf and his attempted rise at power. Link's quest to defeat him, obviously. Child of the Kokiri Forest, but in reality, he's a Hylian. But he does not know that yet. The guardian and protector of the Kokiri Forest is like very sick. Equipment, like find a sword, a shield, make your way over to the Deku spider. Queen Goma. You gotta kill her, all her babies, which is the first of 3 spiritual stones to leave the concrete forest for the first time into the kingdom of Hyrule. The Lon Ranch's owner, who's trying to deliver milk there at the time, but he falls asleep. Meet Princess Zelda. She explains the story. Sends Link on a quest to collect the other 2 spiritual stones. Death Mountain, you meet the Gorons, and you have to kill King Dodongo to Zora's domain, which is like filled with like a bunch of like sexy fish people. He's eaten by Lord Jabu Jabu, like Lord of the Fishes. Like this thing was wild. So you got to jump into his belly as way she throws the Ocarina of Time into the. You unlock the door of time. You walk up to the stone. You pull out the Master Sword, unlocking the sacred realm. But wait, it's a trap. Ganondorf wanted this the entire time. Steals the Triforce. This land is just laid to waste. Sleep for 7 years, has no idea what's going on. A mysterious being called Sheik, who says they're the last of the Sheik. The Forest Temple is your old friend Saria from Kakariko Forest. Bringing back all of your old friends now. And let me tell you about the Water Temple. This temple took me weeks to beat as you fight these crazy witches on broomsticks. Medallions now. You head back to the Temple of Time. It's not actually Sheik. This is Princess Zelda in disguise the entire time. This is crazy. Castle with the help of the sages over a magical bridge up in his tower, and it's a brutal battle. It just starts crumbling. So you and Zelda only have like a few minutes to get out of there. Ganondorf has transformed into Ganon, the beast, and this thing is. Ganon is stunned with the light arrows. You spot the Master Sword over there, grab it, killing Ganon once and Link for everything that he's done. Asks for the Ocarina of Time, plays one more song, and she is a sage now, so she sends him back to his original time. And the kingdom of Hyrule is saved, and peace reigns again. Whew.
You done?
What were we doing?
I went to work. I did dishes. I did laundry. I went to bed. I woke up the next day. We were talking about Epic Universe.
Right, Epic Universe expansion. Right. Alright, so yeah, The Legend of Zelda could be a potential fit in this plot of land. Universal clearly wants Zelda with all the Easter eggs and whatnot in the gift shop, and I clearly want Zelda very much too.
Clearly.
But we have the same problem as Pokemon here. Zelda needs its own land. We need the Kingdom of Hyrule. We need the Zora. We need the Zoras and the Gorons and the Deku Scrubs and Hyrule Castle itself. This plot of land is simply just not going to do it.
And the hot fish people.
Zoras, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Not as big of a fan. I care, but not as much as this guy.
So there is a much bigger plot of land on the other side of Super Nintendo between them and Dark Universe, which The Legend of Zelda Land could potentially go into. But, like, is that too much Nintendo right next to each other?
I think so a little bit. I mean, I know we love it and it's really popular, but you don't want to saturate a park with, like, one IP, you know, or the realm of one IP.
I get they're so different, though, Zelda and Mario. And this being Nintendo's second most popular gaming franchise, I feel like it's got to go somewhere.
We were thinking that Zelda could fit perfectly into the Lost Continent area of Islands of Adventure. That area of the park hasn't really seen anything too exciting lately, and if anything, they're just kind of like losing stuff. You know, like the Sinbad stage hasn't been operational in a while. Poseidon's Fury has been gone for years.
They have no dragons.
Yeah, they have no attractions.
It's just Mythos, the restaurant,
and
some few other food places. That cool fountain. That
they do have a cool talking fountain. Yeah. But I think a lot of that could fit nicely into the Zelda realm, especially like Hyrule. You could definitely stylize it towards Zelda, but not like go overhauling crazy with it. You know, it's got the bones for it, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, creating a land from the ground up with just land around you and nothing to like abolish or break down is a lot easier and like could create a better vision. But I could definitely see The Legend of Zelda going into the Lost Continent, and we would not be mad about that.
No, I like it. And I think it would be cool to like repurpose existing stuff and maybe kind of like put a Zelda flair on Mythos. I don't know. That would be fun.
Yeah. There could be one possible issue here with Zelda that's kind of scaring me a little bit, though. As Nintendo went with Universal to make the Super Mario Brothers movie, which we love, by the way. I thought that was fantastic. It seems like they're going to make a live-action Legend of Zelda trilogy. And don't get me started on that. That's another rant.
We don't have time for that.
Not a good one. Like, you can make a live-action movie where 95% of the characters don't speak, especially the main character. Whatever. Okay, not getting into that right now.
That's a different video.
But Nintendo's going with Sony for this project. Which is very strange because that's like their arch rival.
Yeah, exactly. It seems really strange. A weird pairing, if you will.
But the rumor is that like Nintendo will have like full control over exactly how this movie's made if they go with Sony. That's what we've been hearing anyway. So hopefully differences can be put aside and we can still get The Legend of Zelda at Universal somehow.
That would be great, but I guess it is up in the air right now.
We need Hyrule Kingdom.
This guy needs Hyrule Kingdom. So if it's not going to be Pokemon and it's not going to be Zelda, what is it going to be?
Luigi's Mansion, obviously. This is a perfect fit for that plot of land. Like we were saying earlier, they needed more indoor attractions. Luigi's Mansion would make for a perfect dark ride. It's already in that universe in the Super Mario world. Like you wouldn't have to change anything about it. It fits seamlessly in there.
I think that's the biggest thing is that it's Nintendo and it's like Mario already.
Yeah, because like this area would be so cohesive because Donkey Kong exists in the Mario universe as well too, and obviously so does Luigi, Mario's brother. He's already there. Yep, you can already go and meet him.
It's canon.
The writing's on the wall, folks.
So this could potentially be a family-friendly shooting ride, which would also fit very well with like the gaming aspect that Nintendo is trying to cultivate. And Universal really seems to be big on ghosts lately. So Luigi's Poltergust 5000.
Improved from the original 3000.
That makes sense. Upgrade it, baby.
Created by none other than Professor Elvin Gadd.
Of course. I don't need to be reminded of that.
And his gun is clearly a parody of the Ghostbusters Proton Packs, which, by the way, may be getting their own attraction at the original Studios park.
Watch that video.
we made a video speculating on Rip Ride Rocket's replacement, so go check that out after this if you want to.
An ecto coaster.
Video down below.
Yeah, sticking with the ghost theme. So Luigi gets conned into thinking that he won this magnificent mansion, but really it's haunted and there's ghosts all over the place.
Now we gotta help him suck up all these ghosts and save his brother Mario.
Because, again, this was a trap. This gift was cursed. And Luigi's kind of stupid for believing that he won a mansion without entering a contest for a mansion.
It's weird, but I mean, it's a good thing he showed up though, because again, they were like torturing his brother in there.
Exactly. It gets really dark, it sounds.
So. we'll keep this one family friendly. Yeah. I don't think Nintendo would be a fan of a gory Mario ride.
Although I'm kind of interested in it though.
Luigi's Mansion, Halloween Horror Nights house.
Ooh, that would be really fun.
Like rated R, let's turn it up.
Crank it up.
Again, Nintendo's not gonna.
They'll never do that. No, they want to remain family friendly, and I totally get that. Money.
So yeah, everything's showing up ghosts for Universal right now, and I love it. Just pedal to the metal. They're gonna get this open before Disney gets any of their attractions open that were in response to the opening of Epic Universe, their phase 1.
They'll still be knocking crap down at this rate.
Yeah, they're still just gonna be destroying stuff at that point. Like, my God. And like, not to say I am excited for the new Disney stuff, like the new Cars Land coming, the Encanto and Indiana Jones, and Monsters Inc. for sure. But it's gonna be a while until we see those things.
That stuff just feels like less real to me because, I mean, all we've seen is concept art, really. I feel like, and maybe some demolition in certain areas, but we see literal like building permits going up. They're sectioning off parts of the park. Like Universal is obviously taking this a lot more seriously than Disney is.
They're already working construction for the Rip Ride Rocket replacement. Mm-hmm. With that ride still being operational right now, like they're building like the stuff around it already. Like they are going hard. Universal.
Pedal to the metal, love it.
And yeah, they're just gonna keep lapping Disney, and like I feel like Disney's like never gonna catch up at the rates that these two companies work at.
Yeah, they can't seem to like get out of their own way for whatever reason.
And like we predicted that like Universal was eventually gonna like top Disney in attendance, like eventually like over the next decade. But it seemed like it may be happening a lot sooner rather than later. Yeah, so I'm very curious to see what like the attendance numbers are for like 2025, 2026. Next few years, yeah.
I was thinking we would see like a steady incline for Universal and a steady decline for Disney, and it really just seems to kind of be going pew.
And does Universal actually have better IPs than Disney now?
I think so, especially for what we're looking for. Yeah.
Like that's crazy to think about. Like it's like Star Wars and Marvel, like they're definitely not as popular as they used to be. They really garbaged those franchises up a lot, Disney did.
A decade ago, those were all the rage, but I just feel like they're losing popularity really fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
On part because of what Disney's putting out for them. So.
Everything they do for like Marvel and Star Wars, besides Andor, which was fantastic by the way.
Go watch it.
Like everything else is trash.
Yeah.
Well, like, Universal has Harry Potter, which is coming out with a new show. Nintendo, which is obviously never going to die.
Yeah, no, never. Like they'll keep releasing games and the toy merch, everything with Nintendo is just
How to Train Your Dragon. They just came out with a live action movie that apparently doesn't suck. People actually seem to like it. So like, that's awesome. Disney can't do that.
Disney cannot do that now.
They're making the monsters cool again. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, they're bringing back IPs that no one even thought they needed, and now there's just so much excitement centered around them, and I can't wait to buy a bunch of Monsters merch when we get in there.
Right? Like, Minions! They have Minions! Minions are taking over the world, man!
They are. I mean, even if you don't like them, you can't deny, like, the power and the chokehold that Minions has on, like, a really big group of people. Fast and the Furious. Again, that is not for us. But family. People freaking love those movies. That's why there's 10, 12, how many? I don't know.
And they got rumors of Lord of the Rings, Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah. I think Universal is kind of maybe like putting more emphasis on adult fans, whereas Disney kind of just goes towards the kids. And I do get that, but the parents and the older people without children are the ones spending money. So, I don't know, you gotta give adults something to do, honestly. And IPs like Back to the Future specifically is definitely like speaking our language. I don't know about younger kids, but we love it. Same thing with Ghostbusters. You know, everything we referenced, especially in that roller coaster video.
Wicked.
Bad. Wicked is cool. I think that's something everybody likes for the most part.
Oh, we forgot one. Jurassic Park?
Jurassic Park, a huge one, yeah.
Okay, they definitely have better IPs than Disney does.
Yeah, it's endless.
They have better IPs than Disney does. It's official. And I did mention the expansion plot between Nintendo and Darkmoor, which is roughly the same size as Super Nintendo World. But on the other side of the park, between How to Train Your Dragon and the Wizarding World, there's an expansion plot that is like 3 times bigger. What could possibly be going there? It could be one giant land. It could be 2 separate lands, honestly, with how big it is. And like with all the crazy IPs that we just listed, like, it's gonna be something cool.
Absolutely. I think in the next years, we're gonna see Universal want to add more portals to this area. The more the better, and if they've got the land for it, they're gonna use it. When you walk into Epic Universe, the Kronos Tower does have, I think, like empty spots for additional portals to be added.
There are 2 empty spots on that Kronos.
So I feel like that's just proof right there that they have at least an idea of what they want to put in that area.
There'll be at least 2 new lands, and there's 2
patches of land.
2 very good sized expansion pads. That expansion pad between Harry Potter and the Isle of Berg is massive. Something incredible is going to go there, I have no doubt.
Or some things incredible. Multiple things.
So, oh my god, how exciting for Epic Universe. Like, this is just wow. We already have our first trip booked there, but it seems like we gotta start considering our second one already.
Exactly. While we're there, we're gonna start planning the second one immediately.
And this is genius by Universal, because it usually takes around like 2 years for a new theme park to like all the rage to die down, like the attendance to like get back to normal and stuff.
Lose its luster, yeah.
But I see whatever this is opening in 2027, 2 years later, which is going to draw people back in, so it's just going to be endless draws back to this park. The attendance is just going to continue to rise, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they're not losing any momentum here, which is something Disney does frequently. I feel like Disney like pumps its brakes all the time, and yeah, this is pedal to the metal, like we said before.
Yeah, it's just the rates at which the 2 of them just work is so different, and yeah, Universal is really showing what they can do here.
Good for you guys, you're doing great. Yeah.
And because of that, I hope Disney steps it up as well.
And then we all win.
At the end of the day, the consumer wins when they just go head to head with each other, and I got...
Show us what you got. Both of y'all.
I actually saw a picture of Josh D'Amaro recently at Epic Universe, maybe trying to steal some ideas, who knows?
Or just having a blast, probably.
We're like, this is way better than my parks.
Right? I came to spy, but I am having an amazing time. An epic day for Josh tomorrow.
Like sitting there, like eating the mac and cheese, kind of like, oh, this is better than anything we have at Disney.
Scooping that Donkey Kong ice cream into his mouth.
Like wearing like a hat, like people don't recognize him. Like,
yeah, right, a Viking hat, probably. Like a little dragon, like all decked out and epic merch.
So yeah, well, what do you guys think is gonna go into this little plot of land here next to Super Nintendo World? Zelda, Pokemon, Luigi's Mansion, which we think is the most obvious answer, or maybe it's something we've completely missed here. Let us know what you think.
Also, what would you most like to see in the big patch of land that will become 1 or 2 portals in the future at Epic? Or what would you like to see in the Lost Continent area of Islands of Adventure and the Simpsons area at Universal?
Lots of work to be done at Universal, and it's so exciting.
It is tons of potential. I'm not worried about it at all. I'm glad it's in good hands. They've got a fantastic creative team, and they have not lost any momentum.
All right, well, if you guys love theme park content, do me a favor and stop right now. The subscribe button down there. Go ahead and click it.
Click it or take it, guys.
It takes 1 second. We'd love to have all of you on our journey here. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.